Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode. We're going to be looking at the pages of the book of Judges. Last time Gideon was commissioned and he did his putting out the fleece. Now it begins this time with his campaign. He's called together the tribe of Manasseh and also the other tribes. So on the right here you can see the tribal leaders. You've got Asher, and then Gideon in the middle is representing Manasseh, and then you've got Naphtali and Zebulun, not in that order, Zebulun and Naphtali going left to right. They are praying for him in the image, and it says that they camped at the spring of Harod. The Midianites was camped to the north side of them by the hill of Morah, which was the hill that we looked at last time, where it was in the background behind when the angel appeared. Here I was going to show you the internet shows you an image from, you can't read it, padfield.com, but this is just, this is the real place where the spring of Harod is. So you can see that's been drawn from that, and there's a stream that comes basically out from this cave or whatever, and it goes through this little area. So there's like a little river stream going through. You can see the camp on the left side and a few of the banners, and also I had a look around this real life site and found some of the trees that grow in the area, and that's why you've got some of these types of trees and everything. And I've drawn them that they're in the right season for this thing as well. Now, going down, so it says God said to Gideon, and so I've got it here that, like I said, they're praying for him, and that's how I've shown that that God's speaking to him, because they're seeking God, and God is now telling Gideon what to do. But this is where God says, you've got too many people. So it's 22,000 people to fight against the Midianites, and the Midianites have 120,000 roughly, or it might be 130, I can't remember. But they're already massively outnumbered, so they're already almost 10 to 1. Even though they've managed to get 22,000 men together from all these different tribes, yay! But God says, nope. If you win now, you won't. You'll think that it's just because you're a brilliant general and stuff. So they go through the ways of stripping them out. You can see the words of God on the first two panels, but then I've got Gideon basically quoting God. He's saying, "Whoever is fearful and trembling, let him return and depart from Mount Gilead." And I think Mount Gilead here is being used idiomatically, because Mount Gilead is in a different place. They're not in that place, but Mount Gilead is like the primary place in Manasseh. So it's kind of you can leave the army of Manasseh, which is represented by the Mount Gilead. Here again, you can see a few of the banners. The Asher on the right. On the left you've got the green Naphtali one. You can just see a little yellow Manasseh one there, and they're by the stream. And then Gideon there, you can see in this image on the left, he's sweating because he's 10,000 people. Sorry, I misread it, didn't I? It says up here, 22,000 of the people returned and 10,000 remained. So he had 32,000 to start with, and then he's left with just 10,000. So he's dropped his army to a third, and he's sweating because he's only left with 10,000 and they're up against 30,000. So now it's even worse. And then God says there's still too many. So Gideon there looks surprised, and but he bows down because, like I say, that when he's filled with its spirit, there's a turning point. So he says, bring them down to the water and test them, that they come, and I tell you, this shall go with you, the same shall go with you, and whoever I tell you, this shall not go with you. So he says, if I tell you they're going to go, they're going to go, but if they're not, they're not. And then basically he gets them all to drink, and he tells Gideon to choose the ones who to reject the ones that drink like dogs, and pick the ones who drink with their hands. I read many commentaries on this, and some of them are like, oh, the ones that lapped with their hands are like more alert because they're sitting up and they can see, and the ones that put their heads in, they're like dogs and they get rejected and stuff. But it's like, it just seems to be a completely arbitrary way of selecting 300 people. There are others that are like, the people who pick up the water are like dumb, and like, so God picks the 300 dumbest ones and stuff like that. So people have all sorts of different theories, but to me it just seems like an arbitrary way of just choosing 300 people that God wants out of the out of the army. The other lot do get used, but not they don't lead the army, as we'll see. So basically we get the impression a lot of the time that there was 300, and the 300 managed to kill all 130,000 like Midianites, but in actual fact the 300 are the ones who rout them, and then they still use the 10,000 to chase down and kill them all, as we'll see now. So there we go. So God said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, lapped will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others people go, each to his own place. Here I've got, in this image, you've got the people there in the foreground, the people that remain, and in the background you've got a load of people with all their it's the other way around. The people in the background who are lit are the people who remain, and they've got all the horns and lots of the provisions and stuff from the others, and in the foreground all the silhouettes are all walking in one direction, and they're leaving. But the more important thing, of course, is that the little dots in Gideon's thoughts. I've done a little diagram essentially of each dot representing 100 men, and the degree to which they were cut down. So in the top one you've got the 32,000, and then you've got the 10,000, and then you've got 300 that are left. So it gives you a nice visual comparison between them. Then, as they it says, he sent all the men of Israel, every man to his tent, but retained the 300 men. Then, so it comes to night time, and so I've drawn here like a beats where it just focuses on something else. In the very bottom of the panel you can see the camp, but the focus is on this owl, because it's at night time, and then God calls Gideon and says, "Arise!" And he's going to commission him and give him some more orders. But you can see Gideon here sleeping. He's got his head on the fleece, and I meant to mention right at the beginning, you'll notice that here Gideon has the fleece on his shoulder. Now this isn't something that like the Bible tells us or whatever, but I just thought it was a good identifier for him. He puts this fleece out, and obviously it's a thing of significance then, so why not? And he kind of wears it on his shoulders. It kind of makes him look cool, and also it kind of helps show, because it when he wears it on his shoulders, it makes his shoulders look bigger and stuff, and he looks more like heroic basically, because he's got big big shoulders, so yeah, he keeps it, he wears it, and I use it as like an identifier, which is good, because then you've got Samson and stuff, he's got his 7 braids, but for the others you don't know anything about what they look like. So it's fun and good for me to put into something where you can recognize them. And it means as well, when people like reference characters of the Bible in other parts of the Bible, they're more recognizable if I give them little gimmicks and stuff like this. So if they talk about Gideon in like Hebrews or something and we show him, people are like, oh yeah, I remember. So we'll conclude there, but God's called Gideon to arise. The battle is about to begin, and we'll pick that one up next time. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video. If you do, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.